Oh, hello there. Welcome to IGN Live. I'm Damon Hatfield. This is Vince Ingenito.
Hey!
We're about to play you a bunch of PlayStation 4 Pro games.
We sure are. We want to show you folks at home, to our best of our abilities with the wonders of streaming internet video,
Yep.
what you can expect from the PlayStation 4 Pro. So
Yeah.
first up, for the first half hour, we're going to be playing some Rise of the Tomb Raider. And
Which
right now,
is a real pretty game.
it's a super pretty game, and it's super pretty right now because we are right now running it in enhanced visuals mode for the PS4 Pro. So even if you have just a 1080p set, you can enjoy this mode. Some of the key differences I've noticed, some more aggressive light, some reflective shaders, just denser particle effects, kind of more aggressive, more vibrant lighting.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is still running in 30 like the PS4 version already does, but it just has some extra little post-processing elements and effects to make it look that much prettier. This is already a really pretty game.
Yeah. So we should let everyone know we're not streaming in 4K.
Right, correct.
We stream on IGN.com, YouTube, and Twitch, but for the highest quality stream today,
yes,
YouTube
is the place to go right now.
We're
So
streaming in 1440.
1440p, 1440 60.
Yeah.
This game right now is running in 30, so you're not going to see too much. Right now we're running in both 30 and not in 4K on this game. Right now we're going to switch in a little bit so people can see what all the different permutations look like.
Yeah.
But so for right now, if you want to see the highest frame rate and the highest resolution, the YouTube stream is 1440p, maximum of 60 frames per second. And but of course, the VODs are on-demand videos for today's stream. Will be available on IGN.com probably sometime tomorrow. It takes some time to process. That will be in full, up to 4K, up to 60 frames per second. Again, depending on what game and what mode we're running in. So if you want to see the real differences between all the different modes, which is what the whole point of this stream really is to illustrate for you folks, then yeah, you'll want to check out those VODs.
Yeah. If you have questions about what you're seeing today or questions about the PlayStation 4, just post them in the comments on YouTube or on Twitter, and we'll try to answer them here. Vince actually reviewed the PlayStation 4 Pro.
I did.
For IGN.
Sure did, man. And it was, it's the most intensive tech review I've ever done for IGN, because, not only do I have to look at, I'm like replaying games that I've played already, or sometimes playing games that I hadn't played at all in 1080p on a standard PS4. Then also playing all these games on a 1080p set with some of the options that are for 1080p players on the Pro activated, and then also play on a 4K monitor. So it's like a lot of different permutations I had to go through to really see everything in every different variable.
So what's how would you sum up your thoughts on the PlayStation 4 Pro?
Overall, the PlayStation 4 Pro, I mean, on paper, thing's a beast, man. Like, it more than doubles the overall computational power versus the standard PS4. It's running dual GPUs. There's less of a strain on the video. Like, the PS4 by default uses kind of this dynamic video RAM that kind of like doubles as system RAM. But, the PS4 Pro adds a gig of DRAM so that that can just be used by system stuff and apps, so that more of the video RAM can just stay where it belongs, which is helping games run and load and look like they should. So same 8 Jaguar cores. They've just been clocked up a little bit from what the standard PS4 was. So there's a lot of different ways in which and angles from which the PS4 Pro is clearly a more powerful beast than the standard PS4. And there are some games that do a pretty good job of right now with just a simple patch of showing that off. The thing is that since Sony hasn't made any real mandates about what has to be used or what doesn't have to be used, it's what you're going to get is really going to depend on what kind of a set you have. And
results may vary.
Results are definitely going to vary very greatly because some games have a wide variety of options. Some games don't. Some games have support different modes for 1080p users, and some don't. So, it's really going to be, since there's no uniformity to how developers are asked to support the Pro, there's no way to really know what you're going to get. So that's one of the reasons we wanted to do this stream, want to show people what they're going to get. So in that spirit, we're going to show you right now. So Tomb Raider, you've been watching me play Rise of the Tomb Raider in enhanced visuals mode. This is a mode that provides, better overall visual quality and fidelity in terms of effects and post-processing to deliver like a superior looking version of the game, even on a standard 1080p television. So Tomb Raider is one of the, I'd say Rise of the Tomb Raider, probably out of all the games that currently has 4K support, probably I think this does it the best overall for a few reasons. So this is the key thing that you want. This is the gold standard, is that you really want this. You want the ability to first of all, you want right there in your options to see what different things you can choose. You want to have different things you can choose for how you want to enhance your experience, so that if you have a 4K TV, you can switch over to that. If you don't have a 4K TV, you have other ways you can enhance things. So here, we even see a nice list of what the 3 modes are and what each gives you. So it's very clear. It's also nice that you can change these in the middle of a game and just really keep playing. Yeah. Not every game does that. So to me, Tomb Raider is the gold standard because it offers all these options. So what we're going to switch over to right now is we're going to go from the enhanced visuals over to high frame rate. Now, high frame rate is going to run visually. It's going to be the same exact version of Rise of the Tomb Raider that you played already on the PS4, except now it is running in smooth, silky smooth, flawless 60 frames per second, which is just, for action games, especially for, parts where you have to aim, you just see a massive, massive change in performance. Now, again, if you're watching on IGN.com right now, you're not going to be able to see this difference because we are streaming in 30 frames per second on IGN.com. If you are watching on YouTube right now, which is supporting up to 1440p at up to 60 frames per second, you will now see that, this video looks twice as smooth as what you were just watching before. It's really quite dramatic. For my money, these high frame rate options, which is, again, an option that's offered for people without 4K televisions. So instead of using the additional processing power of the Pro to run at a higher resolution or have better post-processing or visual effects, instead, we're going to have the same gorgeous-looking game, except now it's going to run twice as smooth. And that's a great option for people who can't really see much of a difference. Like, if you're not a graphics maven who really sees the difference in different post-processing and effects, but you can instantly obviously tell the difference between playing in 30 or 60, it's so much more fluid, then this is the clear gold standard option. This is the option that you want on every game that you buy. Of course, not every game's gonna have this option, but so we're gonna play in this option for the next few minutes of Rise of the Tomb Raider. And so everyone at home can get a sense of this. And again, if you're watching on IGN.com, so you're not seeing that frame rate difference, remember that the VOD of today's stream, which will be available after processing and everything, some point tomorrow, maybe in the morning, maybe more in the middle of the day, you will be able to then download that video and see very clearly the differences between these 3 modes.
And are all these options baked into the retail version of the game, or were they provided later as an update?
These were provided later as an update. Okay. Different companies are going to support this in different ways, and that's kind of the rub. I reviewed the PS4 Pro, and while I like it and I see potential in its power, it's really going to come down to support. It's still the same great PlayStation 4 that we had before. It still runs all those games, and it's not a lesser system by any means. But in terms of the promise of bringing, being kind of like a mid-cycle upgrade that can really push things up to kind of the next level, remains to be seen. It really depends on the kind of set you're playing on and what games you're playing. Some games, like I said, to me, playing this gorgeous game in double the frame rate, that to me is worth the price of admission. If that option was available on every game, if I could just play, every beautiful PS4 game that I love, but just have it run twice as well, absolutely, to me, that's money well spent. But, we don't know that we're going to get that option with every game. But then, getting away from high frame rate, we're going to play in high frame rate for the next bit to really give people a sense of it before switching over to a 4K signal. But then you got games. You'll see this later. We're gonna play Middle Earth: Shadow of Mordor. That's a 3-year-old game, And when people saw it running in 4K with the other visual enhancements going on as well on the Pro, people were walking by and gawking, and they were like, "What is this game?" And I'm like, "This is Shadow of Mordor." They're like, "What? That game's years old. It doesn't look like that." And I'm like, "Does now?" It's pretty stark, and even on a 1080p set, Mordor looks. Whoops!
Oh no, Lara! Lara, no!
That wasn't how that was supposed to go down. No frames. Yeah, even on a 1080p set, you'll see later that Shadow of Mordor super samples, which means that it renders internally at 4K or at a higher resolution, and then it downsizes it to a 1080p signal, which results in a much cleaner, much sharper picture. It basically works as a form of super anti-aliasing, and as a result, Mordor looks great on this system, whether you're playing it in 4K or whether you're playing it on 1080p. So there are definitely games that take great advantage of the hardware so far. Just a matter of if every game is going to take advantage of the hardware. And of course, we want to see what games that are built from the ground up to be able to harness the power of the PS4 Pro look like. And I think that Horizon next year will be our first look at what a really AAA marquee game looks like.
Which I think is February.
Yes, correct. We're going to try to... Maybe we're going to see if we can skip these cutscenes. It takes a little bit of loading.
Loads,
once it loads in, we'll be able to skip this.
I played through all this game on Xbox One, but it's been a minute. Did you play the Xbox One version?
Yes.
So is the, have you looked at it recently, done a comparison? Like a side-by-side?
Oh,
to see what
yeah.
the
Like,
is?
sure. Yeah, absolutely. And, the differences are fairly noticeable. I'm being signaled, I think, by our producer. Oh, no, okay. I thought our producer was giving us the oh god. Oh god.
You're messing everything up.
I was like, what did I do? What did I press? Yeah. So, there's definitely...
You can tell a difference between PS4 Pro version and the Xbox One version.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in a big way, for sure. So, again, here we're running in 60 frames per second. And what's interesting is that some people might not like watching cutscenes and cinematics in 60. Like, I don't know about you.
It has that sort of... Like when The Hobbit came out.
Right.
Everyone was like, this looks weird.
It has that uncanny... It can have that uncanny look to it a bit. Although I think this game cinematically holds up pretty well in 60 as well. Although certain little things in 60 do look a little bit... Like, this car is going to obviously blow up and flip over in a minute. And when it does, like, there's something about that animation that I feel like in 30, like that right there, like in 30 that looks more believable, but in 60 it kind of like stands out a little bit.
That's interesting.
So yeah, but that's why you have these options. So we're gonna play a little bit of this next section. Well, how are we doing on time? We're at 1:17, so we have 13 more minutes to play. So I'm gonna play a few more minutes in high frame rate mode, and then we're gonna kick over to 4K. And again, once we kick over to 4K, you folks on IGN will not really will not be able to see a discernible difference. YouTube folks will see a difference because you're running at 1440p.
And that 13 minutes left isn't just for the whole stream. It's just for Tomb Raider before we flip over to the next game.
Correct.
Which the next game will be what?
I believe next we're going with Infamous.
Infamous.
Yeah, Infamous Second Son will be will be next up, and that also has some nice options. So you can see, running in 60. This game is already gorgeous, but man, running in 60. But that's me. I mean, I'm such a frame rate maven. Like I prefer that over everything else easily, especially when the lighting and everything else is already at such a high level like it is in Tomb Raider. It just looks terrific. I'm very happy to take the to take the better performance. What about you? Like, what do you prefer? Do you prefer like better post-processing effects and lighting effects, or do you want it to run smoother?
No, I think I'm much more like that's the area where I can tell more of a discernible difference.
Yeah.
If I'm getting better textures and cooler lighting, like I'm not like a big tech,
sure,
like under the hood kind of guy. I just want to be like, I'm just like, does it look good? Does it look pretty?
Sure,
yeah,
right.
Yay or nay? Like,
right, absolutely. And that's why I think the idea of like having options about how to use the PS Pro's power are so key, because there are people who are going to prefer, there are people who are going to prefer to run it in 4K, or there's going to be people who prefer to run it with the enhanced visuals, because they can see a world of difference. Everyone's eyes are different, and everyone's preferences are different. So giving people options is really important. And as you'll see later in the stream, though, what options you get, different from game to game.
Yeah.
And also, in terms of options, sometimes, honestly, some games don't give you any options. And that's, you know, that to me is unfortunate. You know, I really want to see developers get behind it because there is legitimately a lot more power underneath the hood here, and I want to see developers take advantage of it.
So what's your recommendation for someone who already owns a PS4? They're thinking about maybe getting the Pro. Do you recommend they go in now or wait 6 months to see what the support is like?
I think if you already own a PS4, and unless there are games that you know that you love and that you want to replay, or that you're in the middle of playing, and you know they have substantial upgrades that are meaningful to you, then I'd say hold off, like you said, and see what support looks like in 6 months. Absolutely. Yeah, that's kind of what I would say. But that said, like. So I'm a big XCOM fan. Like, I love XCOM. I played it a good amount on my PC, but then kind of took a break from it because my PC at the time couldn't run it very well. And then it came out on console, and I was like, oh, wow, this is really cool. I want to play it on console, and I played it on console, and it's still a great game. But, you know, frame rate-wise, it leaves a little bit to be desired, especially when, like, environmental destruction starts happening. It can chug a lot. So... You know, now I just saw an article the other day saying that XCOM 2 is supposed to get Pro support. I don't know what that Pro support's going to be just yet. And believe me, folks, as soon as I know, I'll let all of you know. But the thing is this: like, if XCOM 2 gets a high frame rate option, I'm going to be all over that. I'll tell you right now. And I would say, like, for me, like, yeah, I'll say this. This is what I've said to everyone, because I care about frame rate so much. If every game that came out on the PS4 from now going forward was guaranteed to have high frame rate, I would, like, that's not even a question. I would absolutely buy a PS4 Pro today. Like, that's, like, I would just do it. You know, so again, it matters what you care about and what you know, what you have, what kind of set you're playing on,
sure,
on at home, and what games you're playing and how well they're being supported. That said, this seems like a good time for us to switch over to
let's do it.
4K. So this is the third option. Now I want to say something about 4K right now, real quick, and that's that. You know, 4K is, for all intents and purposes, a marketing term. It refers to a wide range of different resolutions that you know, that the PS4 is itself capable of rendering in. 2610 or 2640. 2160p is actual 4K resolution. That is true 4K. The PS4 is capable of outputting at 2160. That said, as you may know if you've been following along, some games are not that say, you know, 4K. Yeah. They're not actually running in 38 something by I can't remember the exact dimensions, but they're not actually running in those exact dimensions. They're running in a slightly lower one natively, and then being upscaled or checkerboarded up, which is kind of like a unique upscaling technique that Sony is using is having used on some games in order to achieve a final output of roughly 4K. So it's just important to note that even though it says it's a 4K mode, that does not mean that the Rise of the Tomb Raider is natively being rendered at 4K. It might be being rendered at a lower resolution and then scaled up or checkerboarded up. So I just want to be mindful of that. If you're wondering, is this actually natively in 4K? No, it's not. And most games, not many games will natively be 4K, probably most likely. Everyone will use some form of checkerboarding, I would imagine. That said, right now in 4K, if you're watching on YouTube and you're at least getting 1440p, the difference is, I mean, you can obviously the frame rate's gone back down to 30, but especially like different like details in the rock faces and stuff, it's pretty stark. 4K this game looks quite nice in 4K. And again, the degree to which you recognize that is going to be determined is your eye and how your eye works, whether or not you're watching on YouTube right now, and whether or not you have a monitor that's capable, that's outputting at 4K or not. You may see no difference right now at all. But again, check out the VODs afterwards to see to see the full effect, assuming you have a 4K monitor that you can watch it on, and you decide for yourself. I just think it's really cool that Rise of the Tomb Raider has all 3 options, and that you can switch between them dynamically mid-game, and then it explains all 3 options to you. That's how I want to see 4K support go down. By the way, a little bit of a warning: if you are arachnophobic, you do not want to watch this next section.
This is has echoes of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Exactly, yeah, and it's gonna get pretty hairy. So
this is an awesome game. I'm glad it's finally out on PlayStation 4.
Outstanding game. Outstanding game. And this is one of those games. Remember, I said I didn't really. Some of these games I didn't really play very much or play at all before I had to for this review. Rise of the Tomb Raider is one of them. I'd seen it running on an Xbox One, of course, and I did some comparison for the sake of this review. But I haven't played this game, and having played through this opening hour, half an hour, 45 minutes or so, several times now, for the sake of this review, I can't wait to to dig all the way in and play all the way through it.
In order to really appreciate the new 4K visuals, we should really turn on the classic Lara skin. That's really the only way you can fully appreciate how nice everything looks.
How much things have really changed.
Yeah. I actually like the, that was part of the 20th anniversary pack. There's classic Lara skins in there. Unfortunately, you can't use it in the regular story.
Right, correct.
You have to wait till after you beat the game and you're running around the open world. That's like the only time you can use it. It's a little disappointing for me. I wanted to play through the whole game with classic Lara.
Yeah, but I mean, these details on 4K on some of the rock faces here really pop. That's the other thing, like, even if a developer chooses to render natively at 4K or is able to render natively at 4K, even the game itself just might not be something that lends itself super well to that high of a resolution. I mean, honestly, with some games, you turn on 4K, it betrays some of the flaws in the texture work. But what I've seen is that in this game, in Rise of the Tomb Raider, turning on 4K just brings out all the rich, so many more of the rich details that are there. So it really does enhance the experience visually to a very noticeable degree, for me in any case. Yeah, it's especially these rock faces that just make a huge, huge difference. So, Damon, do we have any questions coming in from the audience? Yeah, shoot.
So about the PlayStation 4 Pro itself, Mike B wants to know. He says, I have a 2 terabyte hard drive in my PS4. If I just replace the one in the Pro with that one, will that be all I need to do? Will it be ready to go?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I didn't try dropping an already formatted or with stuff installed on it hard drive into the PS4. So I don't know for sure. Actually, I'm sorry, I don't have a better answer for that. What I would imagine is that should work out just fine, but I wouldn't want you to 100% quote me on it. That said, even if that doesn't work, with one of the previous firmware updates that Sony did for the PS4, they've added the functionality for transferring data from one hard drive from one system to another.
Yeah.
Though if you have a 2 terabyte drive, I can understand that would be difficult to do. But what you could do is, if you have a full 2 terabyte drive, you might have to get a little bit fancy in order to do that. Yeah, that wouldn't really help you. Sorry, I was trying to think of a way you can game the system a little bit. But yeah, what I would say is give it a shot. It definitely shouldn't do anything. Nothing bad will happen for sure if you try to do that. I can say that much. But yeah, really, really good question. Sorry, I don't have a better answer.
How about this one? How about Ollie wants to know, can PS4 Pro do true 4K?
Yes. So I kind of, just to reiterate, I did kind of go into this a little bit before. But if you go into the PS4's options, you take a look at its sound and screen settings, the Pro that is, and the Pro allows you to output. One of the options is 2160p, which is full 2160p is full 4K. So yes, absolutely, the PS4 Pro is capable of outputting in full, true 1080 4K. That's 2160p. But that said, results are going to vary depending on whether or not the developer chooses to whether the developer is able to get their game to run at those resolutions, or if they have to render internally at a lower resolution and then checkerboard up. So we can take more questions in a second. I think this is the part where we're going to have to transition away from Tomb Raider and get started with Second Son. So we're gonna wrap this part of the stream up and transition over.
Oh yeah, but we have a bunch more PS4 Pro games that we want to show you today.
Yep, plenty more to come.
While we load up Infamous, Ahmad wants to know, can a 3.5-inch hard drive be installed on the Pro?
So the bay is not the appropriate size for that. You would need to install probably some kind of a bracket inside of the PS4 Pros. Like, you can put a standard size SSD inside of the Pro. But if you want to do something that's kind of a different size or a funkier size, you probably need an internal bracket of some kind. But many hard drives now, when you buy them, either come with that kind of a bracket that matches them, or you can easily buy one at like Fry's or whatever. Like, It's not hard to get.
So you're actually flipping through the games here. I thought we had like a second system loaded up, ready to go that we'd flip to.
Oh Jesus, I wish we were that fancy here.
All right, we're loading up Infamous Second Son.
Yes, indeed.
While that loads, Pappy wants to know if the PS4 Pro gets as hot as the launch PS4 did.
I would say.
Have we done temperature tests?
I would say, anecdotally, I have. I mean, like, I've definitely felt them to see. I will say this. I reviewed the Slim, which is now just called the PS4. There's no such thing as the PS4 Slim. It's the Slim replaces the regular PlayStation 4, right? But to the touch, both the Slim and the Pro get warmer faster to me than the launch one did. Again, totally anecdotal. That is not a scientific test. But they just get hot in different places because the ventilation is different. That said, I mean, I didn't run into any performance-based or heat-based performance problems during my tests, but that doesn't mean that over the course of the long haul that additional heat won't be an issue. It's just any comment I would make about that heat being an issue would be like purely speculative, right? Like, I don't have any way of testing that out over. I can't travel through time yet, folks.
Not yet.
Not
Stay
yet.
tuned. All right, we're hopping into Infamous.
Yes.
It's ready to go?
It's ready. We
don't need to watch the story.
I'm trying to skip it, but
we can't skip this?
This is not a thing I can skip right now. In fact, you folks might get to see me do spray paint. You guys might see, the first thing you do in this game is do that weird spray painting mini game.
Yeah, it's been this is early PS4 game.
Early PS4.
So it's been a while since I played it.
And this is I reviewed this too, actually.
So how do you find, I'm sure you'll demonstrate this, but how do you find the graphical enhancements in this game?
So Infamous Second Son is also doing a good job in terms of like the kind of support and how it's implemented that you want to see on the PS4 Pro. So it gives you options that are there and visible in the options screen. You can change those options mid-game on the fly to your preference, which is great. It just doesn't have as wide a range of options as Rise of the Tomb Raider does. Rise of the Tomb Raider gives you a 4K mode, an enhanced visuals mode, and a higher frame rate mode. And here, your options are either the higher resolution, or higher frame rate. And in the case of the higher frame rate, it definitely runs better, at times very close to 60 or around 60. But I wouldn't say it's as a perfect 60 as Rise of the Tomb Raider offers. Okay, yep, time to spray paint, folks. Yeah, let's do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are going to see my artistic skills. Oh, damn.
Totally forgot about this mechanic.
Oh, damn. Look at me go. Yeah, I'm spray painting like a boss right now. Just call me Banksy right now.
You need to have your own tag.
I'm an artiste. No, not an artist with a T, an artiste with an E. Artisto.
What a time to be alive.
Bellissimo. We got some more to do though.
Oh,
okay. Just paint it black. Everything. Like the song. It's so funny because like I feel so like ignorant and uncultured, but like when I first played this section of the game, I had never been exposed to like this template based way of doing street art.
Street art, yeah.
So I was like, I don't understand. Am I supposed to spray the whole thing? Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I had no understanding of like even the mechanics of how people do street art these days.
Get there, mingle, establish an alibi. I'm a goddamn criminal mastermind.
I love Delson. I know a lot of people don't like Delson Row, but I really like Delson Row.
Well, I remember this. This is another game that was already pretty before the PS4
Oh,
Pro.
yeah.
I remember at the time, I thought it had some of the greatest like facial animation work.
Oh
I've ever
yeah,
seen.
and it's still really great in that way. And honestly, it's still like even like PS4 Pro enhancements aside, it's still one of the best looking games on the PS4. It's like an amazing looking game.
Yeah.
Like especially once you get into Seattle, the vistas and the lighting, and it's really something else. Let me see if I can skip this. No, I can't skip this. So
Unskippable cutscenes in the year 2016.
in the year, right
Come on.
in space year 2016.
Amazing. It looks great on you. Seriously.
What were you doing?
I love this character. I love Betty.
Nothing.
I love Betty because like
Were you
obviously like the archetype of like the character that she's playing, like the aunt or grandmother who's kind of doting, but like gives you tough love when she has to, but also catches you a break when you need it.
Well, come on, sweetie.
Like
What are you gonna do here?
the perfect maternal figure, right? It also helps that she has the name of and also looks kind of like my godmother. My Aunt Betty is like such a similar character. Like I instantly, like as a result, I instantly cared about her.
Yeah.
This is the last time.
Last time, yeah. Well, okay. We're almost through this cutscene, folks, and then we're gonna. I'll jump into the options and just show you folks the two different modes that that Second Son offers. Okay, so first things first. We got to invert the vertical because that's how one plays games.
That's how human beings play video games.
That's correct. Okay, so performance. Okay, we have both high resolution and better frame rate, and then when you're in better frame rate, you can choose to either also choose to either lock at 30, or unlimited. So that means you can just you can let it go as high. On unlimited, you'll see higher highs, but it'll also probably fluctuate a little bit more. I didn't see huge frame dips or anything. So we'll start in. Why don't we start this one in higher resolution?
Why do you think you have to choose between the two, higher resolution or better frame rate? Why can't you have both?
Right, that's the great question. And I don't know. I'm no system architect. I have some technical knowledge of the way computer graphics work, but I'm by no means an expert. First of all, I'll just say this: in terms of higher resolution,
Easy part.
increasing resolution
An alibi.
as a whole in bulk is one of the most system intensive things that you can do. Like in terms of like how much power you are soaking up by rendering natively at a higher resolution, it's an astronomical amount, David. So like that's why I said a lot of games will not even run at native 4K because to do the things that a lot of PlayStation games are doing graphically, like this beautiful game, to try to do those things and then bump it up to 4K would just choke out the system. So like for instance, I'll give you an example. So Gears of War Remastered, like the Gears of Gears of War, like the original remastered. Our gameplay lab guys have computers with dual Titans in them. Okay,
Gold crap.
dual Titan X's. Okay, those are extremely powerful graphics cards. If people at home you don't know, well more powerful than what's under the hood of the PS4. With dual Titan X's, they initially had trouble getting a remaster of Gears of War to run at 4K at any kind of decent frame rate. They eventually fixed the problem with a patch and with changing some settings, but that should give you an idea. Like even an absurdly powerful gaming PC, trying to run a game that's many years old, but just bumped up to 4K is honestly too much to ask for even a very, very, very beefy system. So to answer your question, like, I can't say like for sure that that's why you can't have both, and I can't really speak to whether or not Infamous is doing full native 4K. But I will say that it's computationally very demanding to do 4K or to do high resolution of any kind, and so that would be the reason that you can't have that you can't have both the extra performance and the extra resolution because
Yet.
yeah, yet, right. And that's the thing that could also, and it's important to say yet, because that's the other thing. It's not necessarily a matter of the PS4 Pro not being powerful enough to do a little bit of both. You know, in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if some PS4 Pro games, their support represented instead of 3 static options. I wouldn't be surprised if instead they showed a slider, right? They had a slider, like here's higher resolution, here's better frame rate, and you put the slider where you want it to be, which one you want to favor more. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that at some point in the future. But yeah, right now it's a choice. So again, a reminder, you folks are, here on IGN Plays Live, we're running you through the PlayStation 4 Pro. We've already gone through some of the options on Rise of the Tomb Raider. We're showing off Infamous Second Son here. Right now, we're running in the enhanced resolution mode. So again, for those of you just tuning in, we are not streaming natively in 4K right now. On IGN.com, you're seeing 1080-30. And the best way to watch this stream right now will probably be on YouTube, where we're at 1440p up to.
Oh no!
Oh!
PS4
Whoops.
Pro. Why you gotta do us like that?
That's not the Pro. That's something maybe wrong with the disc. Maybe the disc got scratched. Sorry about that, folks. We're gonna try to restart right now, and this just gives us an opportunity to. This gives us an opportunity to maybe show off that same section, but in the higher frame rate. Just give people a sense of what it looks like. Although,
yeah, we'll see.
it says the disc is not inserted, so it is failing to read the disc completely now. Just bear with us for a moment, folks. Our producer Mitchell Saltzman is trying to figure out the problem. He says he's giving you a thumbs up.
He's working on it.
Oh, he's working.
While he does that,
he's working on it. Okay, yeah.
Here comes the game.
But yeah, shoot up. Let's see if the game does a little bit better this time. Sorry, folks. That's not the PS4 Pro. That's just like our disc is apparently garbage. It's an old, it's one of our old. It's one of the old games.
We had to dig it out from underneath a pile of stuff.
We almost literally did because it's one of the earlier PS4 games. We had to go digging through that library. But yeah, let's take a question or two while we're reloading up here.
Mellow Man wants to know: will the Pro stream my digital movies I've already purchased in 4K?
So the answer is
Oof.
Oh wow.
Same error message in.
Yep. Are we gonna transition then? Okay, cool. Sorry, folks. We'd love to show you more of Infamous Second Son running in the higher frame rate because it does look very nice, but the disc does not want to cooperate with us.
Yeah, but like you were saying earlier, Shadow of Mordor is definitely one of the best looking games.
Absolutely, it is.
On the PS4 Pro. So this is actually good.
Yep. We're just waiting for the disc.
Yeah.
Mitchell is switching us over right now.
In order to answer this question.
Yes, I'm sorry. To answer the question, will you be able to stream in 4K? The answer is yes, because the PS4 isn't really the PS4 can output a native 2160 signal. So whatever, if the medium that it's getting fed is rendered at 4K, it can absolutely do that. In fact, as a rationale for why the PS4 Pro does not support 4K Blu-rays. Mark Cerny had said that because they feel that the future is going to be 4K streaming. So your answer is kind of in there already. Like if Cerny is saying they're banking on 4K streaming, then you can stream 4K videos on the PS4 Pro. But it will not have 4K Blu-ray support, sadly. Boo.
Loading up Shadow of Mordor.
Yep, loading up Shadow of Mordor. One of the better looking games.
Someone with the Twitter name Simply Art asks, how quiet is the PS Pro under extended usage?
Under extended usage, it's still way quieter than my launch PS4 is for sure, and about on par with the Slim. So yeah, very satisfied with the PS4 Pro in that regard. All right, so let's jump into the options, and I'll show you folks again. Again, Shadow of Mordor does a pretty good job in terms of how it supports the PS4 Pro. It's got 2 modes, though, not 3 like Tomb Raider does. Tomb Raider still beats it there. It has either a favor resolution mode or a favor quality mode. So again, like you're starting to notice probably that this terminology is not uniform. There's nothing uniform. Some say enriched visuals, some say enhanced visuals, some say favor quality. Some say 4K, some say favor resolution. That's one of my kind of nitpicks is that right now there is no uniform language, there is no uniform rule about what you have to support or what it's called. So it's really up to the developers to name it something intuitive, give good explanations, and be clear about what they're offering. Some developers are doing a better job of that than others. So I will say that, so you have two options here in Mordor. You have favor quality, and favor quality is a 1080p mode. Okay, so you can still enjoy this in 1080p, and it claims to increase the game's graphical quality. I'll be entirely honest, folks. I wasn't super clear on what was being enhanced, and I don't have a perfect eye. Some people have better eyes than me, of course. I did notice that, again, much like with Tomb Raider, some shaders were a little bit more on reflective surfaces, were a little bit higher fidelity and nicer, but that wasn't across the whole scene. It just seemed to be on certain surfaces and certain kinds of materials. So it kind of looked jarring in some areas where the water reflections didn't look any better, but say a glint of light off the back of your sword looked better. So it's a little bit all over the place. But again, you have the favor resolution option. We're going to go with favor resolution for now because I think it's the better of the two modes. It's also interesting to me that in favor resolution mode, this is not just for people with 1080 with 4K monitors. I want to stress that again, like I've been stressing throughout. Good developers, smart developers are building in support they're building in pro support for 1080p monitors and sets, because let's face it, the overwhelming majority of us are still playing on 1080p sets and probably will be for some time. What's really cool about the enhanced resolution or higher or favor resolution mode in Mordor is that if you're playing on a 1080p set, what it does is it super samples the image. Now, for those of you at home that don't know what super sampling is, it means that the image is being rendered internally at a higher than 1080p resolution, and then the image is being shrunk down to match the resolution of your monitor. What that means is if you've ever seen a screenshot of a game, and it's like you get like a wallpaper sized. Oh man, that looks beautiful.
Yeah,
that looks just gorgeous. And you get like a wallpaper-sized image. You take a look at it, and when you zoom in up closer to the details, it's suddenly a lot sharper than in that portion than it would have been ordinarily. So the reason I'm mentioning this is because that's what super sampling overall. Really, that's all it is. It's rendering at a higher at a higher resolution and then shrinking the image down, and the result is a sharper, cleaner, smoother image. You can almost think of it as an extremely advanced form of anti-aliasing in a way. When you see something on a 1080, when you see Mordor running on a 1080p set, you are even when you have favor resolution activated, that super sampling is going to make the edges a lot cleaner than what you most likely remember. Any jaggies that might have been there before or rough edges are going to be, for the most part, smoothed out. It's a really impressive effect. And if the game's art and whatnot were already good, it makes everything pop that much more, regardless of whether or not you're playing on a 4K monitor.
Yeah, I was gonna say when we were all gathering around while you were playing this the other day, it was down in one of these like more populated areas where there's lots more details to admire.
Yes. Yeah. That's the other thing is that, like, I will say that some of the textures really 4K does a lot of the enhanced resolution really does a lot of favors for it. And then other textures, like some of the ground textures, this is a 3-year-old game, like I wouldn't say those rock textures, for instance, are I wouldn't say that 4K brings out any extra richness in them, but I think certainly in his cloak and his sword and around the edges, and then all the lighting just looks cleaner and more vibrant.
Can you switch at any time in Mordor?
I'm really glad you mentioned that, Damon, because you can't, and that's again one of those situations where, like what I was saying, some games have certain options and some games don't. It would be ideal for every game to just automatically support. No, that guy's going for the beak. fucking
Oh,
die.
Nice. Looks like you know what you're doing in the combat in this game.
I've played it a little bit. So yeah, important to note. Oh god, I've got archers all around me.
Nice.
I'm trying to pinpoint where these archers are so I can. Are they up there? I want to get a Caribor and start wrecking stuff with the Caribor. That's what I want to do. That's what's fun. So yeah, I'm glad you. Oh, there you are. Where's the other one? There you are. So yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm sorry I got a little bit distracted trying to look like I know what I'm doing. But yeah, this game is not a game that supports the on-the-fly switching.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because yeah, and when we want to switch over and show you, when we want to switch over and show you the other mode in Shadow of Mordor, we are going to have to skip out to the main menu in order to do that. Let's take a look and see. Who do I want to go kill? Who do I want to go kill? This guy's got 2 bodyguards. This war chief has 2 bodyguards. Okay, he's vulnerable to stealth finishers, but I still want to take out his bodyguards. All right, so let's do you. Oh, he's vulnerable to stealth as well. All right, nice. We're gonna go after this guy.
This is a cool game mechanic that I kind of thought some people would start copying,
Right.
but I haven't seen it
And
anywhere
yet
else.
somehow no one has. Yeah. Very strange. I think it's an awesome system. Makes death feel meaningful. Like this is honestly the stuff you can do in this game when you're trying to plan how you want to take down different war chiefs. This is like what the promise of Assassin's Creed was originally.
Yeah.
You know. Oh, you guys are dead. So yeah, it doesn't hurt that this game is like a blast to play and it's a lot of fun. But like the enhanced visuals, the enhanced fidelity from playing it on.
We're on favor resolution.
Yeah,
right?
we're on favor resolution right now. Yeah, yeah. I gotta be careful. See, I gotta be careful not to use that. Not to use that phrase, enhanced visuals, because that's actually a.
In Tomb Raider, yeah.
Yeah. That's silly terminology.
And this isn't something that we're showing off today, but Diego would like to know how much of a benefit to PSVR is the Pro?
Oh, that's a great question, and something that I didn't get to hit on in my review as much because my experience overall was fairly limited in VR with the Pro. But I will say this: there is a benefit. Right now, as of this morning, there are 2 games that have active, that have real support for the. I'm sorry. There's 2 PSVR games that have support built in now for the Pro, and those are Battlezone and Res Infinite. And I've sampled. I haven't sampled Res Infinite yet with it, but I have sampled Battlezone, which. Again, I just described the technique of super sampling to everyone. So yeah, I mean, the PSVR version of Battlezone absolutely benefits from that in a big way. Obviously the 2 screens inside the PSVR, neither of them are even up to 1080p standards. But that doesn't, again, super sampling doesn't require the final resolution to be as high as the source resolution in order for it to have an impact. So, yes, the PS4 Pro is then rendering Battlezone at a higher resolution and then downsizing it to fit within the confines of the resolution of the PSVR, and the result is a way sharper looking image. Whereas some pieces of text might have looked, and certain details might have looked fuzzy in Battlezone before. Once you play them in PSVR, they're a lot sharper, a lot easier to see. They also added a kind of a more realistic lighting model throughout the cockpit. So that cockpit view that you have is a lot nicer than it was before. So yeah, that's an example of some of the visual enhancements. And then Res Infinite is actually one of the few games that's running native 4K. And again, like if you're playing, it being native 4K isn't a big deal for PSVR in and of itself, but again, because like it's then taking that 4K symbol. Oh, wait, is this the dude? Yeah. Oh my God, this might be the dude.
He's not. He doesn't even know you're there.
He has no idea. He's gonna know I'm here now.
Yeah.
Night, night. Oh no, he was just standing on the quest marker for the dude.
Weird.
That's what I thought. I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna get this that easily."
Yeah. You also can't usually stealth kill those guys.
Yeah. So yeah, so for Res Infinite, like again, super sampling, native 4K, then being downsized, definitely helps things to look that much cleaner and that much clearer. And of course, resolution all aside, certainly that was easy enough.
Yeah.
Resolution aside, of course, developers can choose to patch in a higher frame rate mode for PSVR games, which would be, obviously terrific, helping those games run smoother and at a more stable frame rate. All good to me. That's something I would pay for.
I don't think we're showing this today, but Luke Halpin would like to know if you've tested out Uncharted 4 on
We
the
have.
Pro.
Yeah, we have, absolutely.
Anything to report?
No, not really. I have to say, like, as much as I love Naughty Dog and their games, so far their support for the Pro has left me a little bit underwhelmed. But then again, it's tough. Like Last of Us Remastered was running at 60. You could and already gave you the option to either run in 30 or 60. So it's tough to like you're not going to up the you could up the frame rate further, I guess. You could go, you could say I'm going to go up to, I don't know. You could go up to 90 frames per second or 120 frames per second, but like I don't really think that's necessary. And then like as far as like improving the visual fidelity, I mean like do the games look nicer on a 4K set? Sure, they absolutely do. But like I guess that's like the disappointing. I don't say disappointing, but like well no, I will say disappointing. It's disappointing to me so far when I see companies, especially if they're kind of like internal. Naughty Dog is not like owned by Sony, but I mean like they are kind of an internal team. So when I see those teams not fully embracing everything that the system can do, that's disappointing. Like I feel like I just want to get to a point where there's no longer even a discussion about whether or not I don't want there to be even a discussion about whether or not a game provides enhancement options for someone with a 1080p set. Like that should be that should be normal, So seeing a high-profile developer like Naughty Dog not supporting it in that way, and instead just giving you kind of like a 4K experience and no enhancements for 1080p people, is kind of off-putting. I hope that doesn't set a precedent for second party, first party studios, second and first party studios going forward.
What about a recent game that you and I both enjoyed, Deus Ex: Mankind Divided?
Yeah, I mean, I love I love Deus Ex.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really love Deus Ex, and people know that. I really care about that game. I do not think that it benefited from I would say based on the Pro support that I've seen, like so like I don't want to beat them up because like I love that game. I think it's a great game, and of course all this kind of support is optional. So it's like you hate to like you hate to beat people up like Naughty Dog or like like Eidos Montreal. But yeah, I mean like you want to talk about not knowing what you're getting and what you're getting not even seeming that like that substantial. I mean, to me, Deus Ex: Mankind Divided is probably the most disappointing of the games that I've seen so far. Like, so suppose like there's a patch, and I had to read articles to find this out, okay? But in looking in some articles, I found that yes, the patch had been released for Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. But if you look in the patch notes for Deus Ex: Mankind Divided, it didn't necessarily make that super clear. Or what kind of real enhancements had been made. But then the official Twitter account of for Deus Ex: Mankind Divided indicated that that there was indeed a patch released, and that it not only improved the resolution, but also added other visual enhancements. What exactly those enhancements were doesn't really say.
Yeah.
And there are no options. There are no options included in the menus of the game. So there's no way for me to tell that way. So like this is kind of like the potentially disappointing, not dark side, but like this is the potentially disappointing side of the PS4 Pro, right? It's like you could be playing a game on your Pro and maybe it's being enhanced in some way, but like if you can't outwardly tell from looking at it, like there's some cases where, again, since it's not mandated and there's no uniform way of expressing this, at least doesn't seem to be right now. How do you know what you're getting? And that's even worse if you're, it's one thing if you're an existing customer who already owns the game that can't tell, but that's even worse if you're, that's even worse if you're a prospective customer who doesn't own a Pro. And you want to know if what you're getting, like that's terrible, to not have any idea. And then so to be what Deus Ex does have, it does have a 4K. It does run in quote unquote 4K. Again, I don't know what the exact resolution is it's rendering in, but it does run in 4K. If I'm being honest, I don't personally feel that with the level of texture quality that's included in the console version, I don't think 4K did it any favors. I personally think, if anything, 4K might have hurt it just a little bit. Again, everyone's eyes are different. What you pick out and what you think is super significant might differ from person to person. But personally, I would not say that Mankind Divided is at all a good showcase for what the Pro can do.
I'm getting so many questions about PSVR and the Pro. That's just like a big area of interest for people out there.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Like, there's some things that people do have to understand about the Pro, about the Pro and PSVR. So like, there are certain limitations built into the PSVR, right? That the Pro just can't do anything about. It's like I was saying before with resolution. Like, yes, super sampling can help to make things look a little bit crisper and cleaner in the PSVR, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you can't magically make those screens that are inside the, you can't magically make those screens. You can't magically make those screens inside the PSVR 4K screens. Like you can't magically do that. That's hardware. There's nothing you can do about that. So that being said, it's understandable that like you would want or imagine that you could have that kind of thing, but I mean, like, that's just not realistic. That's not going to happen. Yeah. That said, though, I mean, there's still a lot you can do. Like, you can still enhance, special effects. You can still enhance, the frame rate. But yeah. And you can still super sample, but there's going to be limits to how much you can pull out of that. It's not gonna magically. It will certainly help, because like one of the things that holds PSVR games back visually is that, you've got to render everything twice for the stereoscopic, kind of 3D VR effect. So that limits how intricate you can get detail wise. Theoretically, the Pro can help with that, but of course, Sony has said they don't want games coming out that are PS4 Pro exclusive, right? So that means that like whatever you could get to run on the Pro, they'd theoretically want it to be also be able to run, without the Pro. Which means that like sure, if you were gonna leverage all the power of the PS4 Pro, then like yeah, you could probably make PSVR games that look substantially better than the ones that we see now. But then like, what does that game look like on the standard PS4?
Yeah.
You know, that becomes the problem, and like, it's a tough situation that Sony's kind of in with that, right? Because like they want people to. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to find this this dude who's supposed to be here killing it. I just can't find him. Like they want people to want the system. In order for people to get people to want the system, they have to see that there's going to be a substantial difference in their experience. But at the same time, if they make the difference too substantial, then it's like they're kind of then people who own just the standard PS4 will feel cheated. It's a difficult scenario. What I think would be kind of great is if somehow, some way, you know, at some point the PS4 Pro can just totally replace the standard PS4. And just be the PS4.
Yeah.
But of course, then people who already own the existing system will feel slighted. Then they'll feel like they have to buy the new one. I don't know. It's tough, man. It's tough. But so far, it's promising that 2 different games for the PSVR have been given some pro support and some pro love. Oh well, there he is.
Here we go.
Oh man, I could have just sniped him from above or done some kind of stealth. Oh man,
I don't think I ever saw this guy when I was playing it. This guy's awesome.
yeah, this guy's about to be awesomely dead. I just don't want that beacon sounded.
Yeah, it's been a while since I played Mordor, but just looking at this, I feel like there's more muscle definition. in the
Oh yeah,
character's
absolutely.
arms.
Yeah, it's easier to see details like that in the enhanced resolution mode, for sure. Like a lot, like I said before, 4K, just higher resolutions in general, are going to do a lot to either bring out what was great about the texture art, or will, or will show the limitations and shortcomings of that texture art. Oh, I'm sorry. Our producer's talking to us. What's that, Mitch? So there isn't a 60. Mitchell just asked a good question. Have I showed off the 60 frames mode in this game yet? And I haven't, because there is not one. And that's another unfortunate thing. I don't want to sound like a spoiled brat, but to me that is just what I want that in every single game. If you're out there, developers, if you're listening, please, literally, I just want it in every game. Every single PS4 Pro game, I want there to be an option for me to just keep the visuals exactly where they are and just have it run better. Because that kind of stuff really matters. That kind of thing really matters to me.
Well, at some point, so we're playing in favor resolution here, right?
Yes, we are.
At some point, we're going to hop out so you can favor quality.
Sure. Yeah. Why don't I actually? I guess this is as good a time as any to do it since I just beat that one. Yeah. That one dude. So yeah, we will quit and hop back out to the main menu, and now I will switch over to enhanced visuals mode.
Yeah, and the reason we have to do this is, unfortunately, Shadow of Mordor isn't one of those games that you can just switch on the fly.
Exactly, that's right. So this is a game that you have to go back to the main options, and do it from here. So we'll switch over to favorite quality. And again, this is one of those I just want to I don't want people to feel like it's like an Emperor's New Clothes effect, especially if you're watching on IGN.com right now, which is we're streaming this in 1080 30. So you are not getting the benefit of either the higher resolution. You're not getting the benefit of high resolution, okay, because you're locked at 1080p. B, you're also for enhanced visual effects, I would even argue that that's hard enough already to see on for a lot of people on a good TV, but watching it compressed through a stream and then streaming over, and then whatever streaming service you're going, it's there's several layers of loss that's happening. So it's it's possible that you're at home, you're looking at these 2 different modes and you're going, this looks the same to me. And it may actually just look the same to you. Maybe that's the way your eyes work. But also keep in mind that what you're not you're literally not being transmitted the actual full detail. If you want that full detail, then just keep in mind that our VODs, our on-demand videos for this entire stream are going to be in full 4K, 60 frames per second, and those will be, it takes some time to process videos of this length at that quality. So keep in mind, those will be up tomorrow. When exactly, we don't know. We're hoping maybe it'll be in the morning, most likely more like midday, because these things take time. So if you
process,
yeah, exactly. So if you have a 4K monitor and you really want to see the differences going back and forth, then you'll want to make sure to check out those VODs.
Over on Twitch, Ryan Plays asked if we're going to show off other games. And yes, we start off showing you Rise of the Tomb Raider. Showed you a bit of Infamous Second Son before we had some disc problems.
Yes.
We're playing Shadow of Mordor now, obviously. And then in 20 minutes or so, we're going to flip over to what, Call of Duty?
Yes, the Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're going to be showing you a few different things here. Oh, you're trying to run?
Yeah.
You can't run. You can't run. Cool, yeah. So we're being advised like whenever we find a good stopping point to switch over to Call of Duty. So you know what I'll do? I'll go and I'll kill this. I'll go kill this general that I've been gunning for. Oh, did it not save that I killed that one dude?
Dude, you always save before you back out.
Oh no, we're good. Again, it doesn't seem like either of his supporters are still alive.
So
yes, I killed them all.
I want to see if my eyes can tell a difference here. Because now we're in
now we're
favor
in
quality.
Favor quality, right?
Yeah.
Instead of favor resolution, we're in favor quality mode.
And
so,
I mean, I have to say, I feel like the lighting's maybe a little bit more impressive. But that's just like my.
Sure, the lighting is a little less stark, a little more natural, a little more natural here.
I feel like there's
less aggressive.
more particles, maybe. Like you just walk through like a swarm of gnats.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that's the thing that's tough is that like a lot of these differences are going to be very subtle and very small. That's kind of like my biggest thing with enhanced quality, quote unquote, is that the reason I don't like the whole enhanced quality thing is because I play games on PC, and so because I play games on PC, and I've been playing games on PC a long time, I'm just kind of used to the kinds of options that you get on PC. Like, so I know when I get a new PC game, like I know what I want to turn on, I know what I want to turn off, and I know what makes a difference for me. And so okay, bye. Yeah, that's gonna be a nope for me. Thanks. Yeah, so I know what options I want to turn on, what options I want to turn off, and what looks like what. Like I know what anisotropic filtering is. I know what screen space ambient occlusion is. I know what super sampling. I know these things. So I can turn them on and off. If you don't play on consoles very often, if you mostly play on consoles, then you probably don't. You don't necessarily know what those things are because you haven't been spending years turning them on and off and looking at them. So I get why they want to just say enhanced visuals for the sake of people who don't have a lot of experience with the technical jargon. And that makes a certain degree of sense. But the problem is that like you're not really educating the consumer then about what kind of enhancements they should look for or what kind of ways in which the quality is getting better. And then the flip side of that is that for a person who is a PC user, and is used to having all these minute options, it's frustrating because I'm like, I don't know. What did you actually do? And the question is, like, I guess the bigger question is, if I'm not really noticing that much of a difference, or I'm not getting much of a visual pop out of it, then, is it really worth it?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it really worth it? Whereas with the enhanced, with the favor resolution, I definitely see a significant difference.
Yeah, like some people are asking, what is it about the PS4 Pro that makes it a must-have system to us? But I as we've been talking about here, I don't think it is necessarily a must-have system.
Correct.
In our opinion.
Right, and that's kind of that's kind of the tough situation that it's in. Is that like, do I want higher frame rates? Absolutely. Do I want higher frame rates? Yes, I do. Do I want higher visual fidelity? Yes, I do. But right now for the average consumer, do I? Oh
Wait,
God!
That guy looked right at you.
He did look right at me. I'm just gonna kill him. You're just gonna die.
Yeah, I feel
Sorry,
like you're
buddy.
turning them to your side and then killing them.
Yeah, so this part is supposed to be that I drain them and then they run away scared. But like I don't know, that guy just didn't run. Like I drained him and then he didn't run away, which was a really bad idea for him. That didn't work out well for him. He stuck around and had to die. Sorry, buddy. Yes, the idea here is that I'm trying to spook. I'm trying to spook these dudes.
Did I just hear something?
You did.
I don't know. Did
You heard the Reaper. Are you gonna run off like a good boy so I don't have to kill you? He just jumped. He's like, I'm done with this place. I'm out of here.
Have you taken a look at Battlefield 1 on the Pro?
I have not. I have not. Although I really do. I love Battlefield 1, and I'm playing a lot of it on PC right now. So I really do want to see how that looks. Although I'm pretty sure from what I've heard that it does not have any 1080p specific options, which is disappointing. Because 1080p is what I play on. I mean, the game already runs in 60 on consoles, which is pretty impressive given how beautiful the game is. So I don't know how much more they could really realistically have done with that, but it's just like I said, I do think that I would like to see options for 1080p sets be a standard. I think that's just something that every game should do.
I think people are about ready for us to switch over to Call of Duty when you're ready.
Oh, okay. Well, let's just give the people what they want.
Give the people what they want.
Let's do it. Let's switch over to Call of Duty.
All right.
All right, so that's it for Shadow of Mordor, folks. We're going to switch on over to Call of Duty Infinite Warfare by popular demand.
Yeah.
Super producer Mitchell Saltzman is going to switch over the discs for us, and then we're going to
If you're watching this stream right now and you have questions about the PlayStation 4 Pro in general, for Vince, who reviewed the system for IGN, tweet them at IGN. Use hashtag IGN Live. IGN Plays Live. Just the easiest way to collate all the questions in one place.
Mm-hmm.
We checked out some Tomb Raider, which definitely looks very, very nice.
Yeah, it
on
does.
PlayStation 4 Pro. Unfortunately, we didn't get to spend as much time with Infamous Second Son as we'd like to. Shadow of Mordor is definitely one of the best showcase pieces for the PS4 Pro, I think.
Absolutely.
And now we're going to take a look at Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
Yes. And
Is it out now or is that tomorrow?
Call of Duty Infinite Warfare is out.
Out now.
Yeah,
Wow.
Infinite Warfare is out.
Right.
Is out now, and it's one of the first games to have Ravensoft. Love those dudes. So yeah, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare is one of the first games to have PS4 Pro support baked in right from the start. There's no patch that you had to download.
Yeah, cool.
It's just part of the game. And so something that's good to note here is that so what are the options? Where are the
Oh, are we checking this out for the first time?
I'm messing with y'all.
Okay.
There are no options.
Okay.
I was just switching my look-in version.
So
Yeah.
explain then.
So that's the thing. There are no Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, even though it's one of the first games that has natively already support for the PS4 Pro. It doesn't actually have any. It doesn't actually have any specific options. So if you're playing on a 1080p set, there's no real enhancements for Call of Duty Infinite Warfare at all. And if you're playing on a 4K set, that's nice because the game purportedly is native at 1080, is natively 4K.
Okay.
It's not being checkerboarded up, so it's native 4K, still running in 60. So yeah, theoretically it should look a lot cleaner, and it does look a lot cleaner. But that said, what's interesting about it is we're gonna just start from scratch.
Have you played this game yet? Have you played
Yes,
the
I
campaign?
have. So yeah, that's the thing is that everyone knows that Call of Duty has never been about high. It's never been about high, ridiculously high texture quality or insanely high post-processing effects or anything like that. It's always been about frame rate first. It's always been 60 first, So,
we went beyond the
you know, that said, I don't think that 4K, I don't think 4K does a tremendously huge amount for this game. It definitely makes it look cleaner and sharper to a degree, but I don't feel it brings out layers of detail that just weren't there before, in my personal opinion. But if you're at home watching on YouTube, which is streaming at 1440p and 60 frames per second, maybe you'll feel differently. Maybe this looks better to you, and if you're watching on a 4K monitor and you're watching this on YouTube at home, maybe you feel this looks significantly better than it does on your PS4 if that's what you play on.
So, am I to understand that Call of Duty Infinite Warfare on PS4 Pro handles all the visual upgrades automatically?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Well, this definitely does look pretty.
Absolutely.
I don't have like a non-pro version to compare it to,
Sure.
but this looks great.
Oh no, I mean, like, it's a great looking game. Actually, Infinite Warfare is the first Call of Duty campaign that I've played since Modern Warfare 2, and I'm really enjoying it. It is a good looking game. But it's a good-looking game on the regular PlayStation 4. Like, again, in terms of overall fidelity, I haven't been able to pick out any particular element of the visuals that look any better than the non-pro version.
What's up?
These guys are having a bad day. So yeah, I mean, like, again, I don't want to beat anybody up. You know, like, pro support is optional. People didn't have to go and retrofit their old games or have their games that are just coming out now support it. But they did, so that's cool. But that said, like, having no options at all to decide where that power goes, having no options really for people who are playing on a 1080p screen. That's no bueno. You know, that we don't want that to become the standard.
So you would prefer if Infinite Warfare were a little bit more clear with what it's providing, what benefits it's providing, and giving more options to the player?
Yes, absolutely. I think conveying those benefits is key. Not just from a. It's like a twofold thing. It's key both for the consumer who needs to know what they're getting. But it's also key for, like, the developers and publishers to, you know, in terms of optics, to, you know, to not be able to clearly communicate and demonstrate the value of what they're trying to sell to their audience. That's no good. You know, like, if you want people to spend their money and buy your product, then, like, you need to. If you want people to spend their money and buy your product, you need to sell them, right? You need to show them what they're getting. And so I feel like communicating these things more clearly would be good for everybody. Like, it would be, you know, I feel like everyone would win in that sense.
Yeah.
If they would do that.
Jove413 asks, does it have does a PS4 Pro come with a HDMI 2.0 cable?
Yes, it comes with an enhanced HDMI cable, you know, with a high-quality HDMI cable. Yes, it does.
And can the PS4 Pro stream at 1080p?
Everything. So I can't say that I tested 1080p streaming, 4K streaming rather. What I will say is Mark Cerny himself said that while one of the reasons why they opted not to bother with 4K Blu-ray support is because they feel that 4K streaming, video streaming, is kind of going to be the way. So I think, like, the writing is on the wall there. Like, if Cerny is saying that, like, they're planning on, you know, 4K streaming to be enough, that, you know, you can infer from that yes, the PS4 Pro absolutely does support 4K streaming.
And Ritwick asks if the new controller feels any different.
So the controller isn't exactly new at this point. You know, the what do you call it? This controller was first introduced. The enhanced DualShock 4 was introduced with the PS4 Slim.
Yeah.
Quote unquote. So you know, it's it doesn't really feel significantly different. And I'm not playing on it right now, by the way. But did I hit it?
Nice.
Ah, missed that guy back there. It's okay. Just make a corpse float, just for fun. Because everyone knows that's a good time. So yeah, the D-pad feels maybe a little bit stiffer, and I don't mean that in a bad way at all. It just feels. I feel like the amount of resistance it gives you is a little bit more appropriate, which is nice. Feels a little sturdier, maybe slightly weightier, but no. Overall, I'd say that I'd say that the enhanced DualShock 4 is. I mean, it's good, but I think most of the benefit of it is the fact that the light bar is front facing, and that when it's wired, it's like it's sending its data over wire instead of wirelessly. So you can kind of eliminate some input lag in that way. Yeah, that's overall what I would say about the enhanced DualShock 4.
Yeah. Now Ray says he's picking one up on Thursday.
Cool.
And he wants to know what games run in true 4K.
So true 4K, we know we know that Call of Duty Infinite Warfare is native 4K. We know that The Witness is going to run in true native 4K. Oh god, grenade. Jesus, that is literally how I die every single time in a Call of Duty game. And it's funny because there's theoretically these indicators, but I never see these indicators until it's too late. Always how I die in these games. So
games in true 4K.
Games in true 4K. Thank you. I think this is the only native 4K right now. Like I said, native 4K is going to be pretty rare. I almost died to that same grenade. Even though I backed up, I then moved back in. Because like I see the indicator goes away, and I'm like, oh, I must be out of range of it now. It must have blown up, and then no, it didn't blow up. You're gonna die.
I've got more questions for you, but I'm gonna let you get through this firefight.
No, shoot.
No, you need to stay focused.
Oh god.
Nope. Throw it back.
Yeah, I do have to start throwing those back instead of just cowering.
Oh man.
Yeah, now things are about to get real.
It's like, ooh, that thing made a real cool sound. Oh, I like how you can target its different limbs.
Yep. I gotta reload. Get out of there. Woo. Woo.
Whoop. Nope.
Ow. Ow. Where am I? I'm so confused. I'm disoriented.
All right, this guy. This guy is running up on you.
I think I got one of his limbs down. There we go.
Nice. Oh wait, now you have to escape?
There's a timer, but it's not a real timer.
Okay.
You're fine. You just move forward now, and then it's gonna prompt you to. It's gonna be like press square to do something. It's pretty cool though. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. You can see it's still holding on frame rate wise.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really good looking game.
Oh yeah, and this runs in 60 also on the. Whoa. Fire the weapon.
Yeah.
Boom.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, like this runs in 60 on standard PS4 as well. Even with all those like bodies ragdolling all over the place and all those effects going off, like gotta gotta hand it to them. Like they have a commitment to making the game run silky smooth, and they accept no compromises, and they deliver on that every year. Yeah, not a big Call of Duty guy myself, but I respect a lot the technical excellence.
You're saying the last COD campaign you played was Modern Warfare 2?
Yeah. So that's a while ago now. Yeah.
But you're enjoying this one.
I am so far. I am really enjoying this one so far.
Oh man.
Yeah, this doesn't have a happy ending, by the way. Oh God, it's Jon Snow, everyone.
Oh yeah. I totally forgot he was the villain in still just now.
He is ruthless.
He's got a nice little scar on his face.
How many did you come with?
You know nothing.
Yeah. I'd be shocked if they don't have a reference to that somewhere.
What about the airship we shot down? My men need medical.
Well, not anymore.
Take care about your men.
What's he gonna do? You didn't see that coming. He shot his own man.
Like, what is that going to do?
Cloud's judgment.
Care clouds judgment, Damon.
His other guy doesn't even seem fazed by it.
Yeah,
he might
like,
be
well,
shot by Jon Snow at any time.
Just another day working for Jon Snow.
Isn't yours anymore.
You know,
He's like, at second thought, kill them. Listen to this.
the end.
He said, don't waste the bullets. Watch this.
Oh, man. It's hardcore.
He said, don't waste the bullets.
Well, yeah. And you got robot soldiers. They can do that for you.
What is Raya? Unclear.
Pretty good opening level
Yeah,
to a
no.
video game.
Oh, the next sequence is amazing. Like, what I love about the next sequence, I'm just
that looks so good.
Yeah.
They planted a flag in our rock.
I'm gonna skip this though.
Okay. Yeah.
So what's amazing about this next about this next section that's coming up here is we're about to go out into like a very Halo 2-esque opening section where well, I'm not going to spoil things, but I mean basically you know, we just watched video of that failed mission, and your guy is like, hey, that was like an act of aggression. We need to go out and strike these guys, and like that's an act of war. And your commander's basically like, sorry, the politicians say like we're not doing that. Like we're not at a time of war, so warriors don't make the calls. We have to just go out there, give people a good fleet week, give people something to feel good about, and pretend this didn't happen. Yeah. And this guy's like, well, that sucks.
So I guess as often happens in Call of Duty, the guy we were playing at is dead. Now we're somebody new.
Yes, correct. Yep. So after this section, stuff's gonna get crazy. Things are going to
now it's gonna get crazy.
Things are gonna get bad, and then from that point going forward, it will be one continuous cut through all the crazy stuff that happens afterward.
What do you mean by one continuous cut? You're
no
like,
loading screens, no point where control is taken out of your hands.
Okay.
It's and you'll see why that's impressive. Like you're gonna like, if we how much time is there? We have a half an hour.
Yeah,
so
we have
I
half
think
hour left.
we're gonna get through what I'm talking about.
While we set this up, Mystic Mace asks if you've played any games with HDR support yet.
I have played one game with HDR support. Of course, HDR not a feature of the PS4 Pro, to be very clear. HDR support is patched into every PlayStation 4 that's out there, just to make sure that everyone at home understands that's not a PS4 exclusive feature. I have played a game that had HDR support patched in, and that was what do you call it? Deus Ex: Human Revolution.
Well, Human Revolution?
I'm sorry,
or Mankind Divided.
Mankind Divided. Thank you for correcting me. Jeez. Yeah, so like I was saying, Mankind Divided doesn't have any PS4 Pro options of any kind, but it does have the HDR option, which again, that's not a PS4 Pro option.
But was the difference noticeable for you?
In that particular game, playing on an HDR supported screen, I'm gonna say no comment.
Huh.
And the reason is because like 2 or 3 other people who are familiar with HDR, more familiar with HDR than I am. When I turned on the HDR option in Deus Ex, they were almost positive there was something wrong with the TV.
Huh.
They were almost sure that the TV was not there, and they started fishing with the messing with the HDR settings. They felt like it was possible that HDR was not properly activating or was causing some kind of an error because it did not look right to their eye.
Huh.
So I'm kind of cautious to really make any judgment on what HDR looked like to me. Yeah, that's the other thing is that, like, you know, I'm not entirely positive which games, you know, that have Pro support, that have HDR support as part of like a Pro package. You know, I don't even know if there's games that are doing that where like they have HDR support but they only choose to activate it for the PS4 Pro. Again, you wouldn't know these things. Like even with games that communicate the options fairly well, you know, we don't have any full official list of what all the enhancements might be.
Yeah.
So okay. So things are about to go bad. I think I can skip this. Okay, I can.
Okay.
So I'm gonna skip this cutscene.
And a hush fell over the
And
room.
a hush fell over the crowd. I'm gonna skip this cutscene, and now from here on, from the cockpit of this ship, of this crashed ship, on, you're gonna see no loads, one continuous cut. And given what happens and where we go, that to me is pretty impressive.
Nope. One continuous cut if you don't die.
Oh, right. I'm not going to die. It's going to be fine. Oh.
Moving up, second floor.
On your way.
Got a target.
That's my guy.
Oh, yeah, don't shoot
Just
your
kidding.
guy. Shot your guy in the butt.
JK. His butt's fine.
Oh.
Ooh. Hold that. Any more questions coming through, Damon?
Still looking for questions. We still have 25 minutes left on our stream today. If you have questions about the PS4 Pro or any of the games we've been playing, just tweet them at IGN. Use the hashtag IGNPlaysLive.
Yeah, it's funny because ironically we're finishing with the game that there would be the fewest questions on because there's no options to go through.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Cook.
Nice.
Whoa, hi-oh. That got scary.
If you don't, yeah, well, yeah. Lots of questions about if you don't have a 4K TV, do you think a PS4 Pro is worth it?
You know, it really depends on the game. Like that's the thing is that like there is no guarantee. Like even, but I want to make it clear. Like even if you have a 4K TV, there is no guarantee. Like, you can have a 4K TV, and if the games that you want to play are not rendered native in 4K, or if that game just because of its visual style doesn't shine in 4K in a high resolution, then I mean like then you're not getting much out of it either, right? So it's just like one thing I do feel is. Oh god! No grenades! My forever nemesis. Yeah, like what I want to really point. You know, I've said this before, and I'll keep saying it. Like, you know, while there is no guarantee. Like, I really don't want people like the idea that like this system was made just for people with 4K is like demonstrably not true. Like while we don't have a huge number, like a huge number of test cases to go from. Like we do know for sure that like Whoa, 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 whoa. I think it's a sniper up there on the second roof. Yeah. While we don't have a huge number of test cases to go off of, we do know for sure that like there are 100% games that are not that have plenty of options for non 4K players.
Yeah.
So yeah, if there's anything that this like stream can help debunk, hopefully for people, it's the idea that like if you don't have a 4K TV, there's just absolutely zero reason to have a PS4 Pro. That said, if companies all decide like, we'll just render our game in the highest resolution we can, checkerboard it up to 4K, offer no options for anybody else, and call it a day.
Heck is going on?
If we do that, then yeah, then there won't be any reason for non-4K people to have the system. But at least so far, that's not been the case.
Now, you were saying earlier, you already put some time into the campaign here. You're enjoying it. Have you... Oh, man. Excuse me. Have you checked out Modern Warfare Remastered?
I have not. I have not. Oh, God. That's sniper. Crawling. Crawling. We're crawling for our lives. Oh, that's my guy.
It's your guy
That's
again. You're a maniac. I don't want to be out in the field with you.
I'm sorry, dude. Like, it's hard to tell sometimes. Oh, Jesus. Just die. Well, that's my guy again. Haha. Yep, don't play games with friendly fire with me, folks.
Nick,
I will kill you.
Nick Brantley would like to know, do you suppose Infinite Warfare will suffer less or fewer frame rate drops on a PS4 Pro than it will on regular PS4?
Yeah, theoretically that should be the case, but I in the time that I spent with the game on both consoles, I didn't see any frame drops on either.
Yeah.
Like, look at
This
everything.
is an amazing
look
scene.
at how much is happening.
Yeah. Now they've I feel like they were cheating a little bit. All the pedestrians running at you were like in dark silhouettes without any details, but still looked cool.
Keep moving to the tower.
Now Ethan, our robot soldier, is going to lead us through the streets here. And this is all, again, no loads, no nothing. This has all been one continuous scene. Think about all the ground we've covered, all the places we've been already. All the different, like, you know, tones and set pieces.
Yeah.
The boat, this debris, you know.
Yeah.
This, like, soot-covered debris area going through in the flashlights. And it's going to keep getting, you'll see. How much time we got? 20 more minutes?
20 minutes.
Hopefully we can get to the part I want to get to.
Have you checked out... Cyber Buckets wants to know if you've checked out Skyrim Remastered on the PS4 Pro.
So Skyrim Remastered is an interesting case, and it's one of those situations that really reinforces what I'm talking about here with informing the consumer about what the benefits are. So right now, the very strange thing is that we're kind of unclear as to whether or not Skyrim Remastered has actually had its patch. Like, there's nowhere in the, we know it's going to get support, but nowhere in the patch notes, nowhere in the patch notes does it say that it's gotten it yet. But different people had read like varying reports that like it had or had not been added in. So there was a lot of, whoa, God, no. So there was actually a lot of confusion about this. As best I can tell, no, the support is not there yet. What the? Oh, you're still alive, you jerk. Best I can tell, the support's not there yet. We have looked at it and didn't notice. If it is there, then that's not a good sign because from what we noticed, there wasn't looked at. There wasn't a lot of a difference. There wasn't really any. There wasn't any difference that we could discernibly tell.
Now, all the games that we've been playing today have sort of different options for how they handle the visual improvements.
Sure.
Call of Duty actually doesn't have any options.
Right.
It's just doing it all automatically under the hood.
Correct.
And then usually, you know, we were talking earlier, usually you kind of have to make a choice between a frame rate or visual quality detail.
Sure.
And I was wondering why you can't have both. And you mentioned that maybe someday they'll come up with a slider system.
Yeah, I would love to see a slider system come into being.
Yeah. Then one of our viewers, Maxwell Watson, wonders, wouldn't having sliders erode the plug-and-play beauty of console gaming? He says, I just want to be able to relax and play a game.
Oh no, I died. No continuous take.
No.
So yeah, that's a good question. I mean, like, and that's like kind of like the needle that Sony has to thread, right? Like, and this is what I was saying before, which is that, like, you know, I don't like the idea that, like, so on the one hand, I'm like, oh, you know, maybe the Pro can be like that midway point that like helps to show people what, you know, who haven't been exposed to different graphical options, you know, what the world of PC gaming is like, and being able to kind of decide what you want to do visually, and like kind of ease them into it with simple language, right? But then another thing that I feel is that like that simple language, get out of here. Another thing I feel though is that simple language has, I don't know what I'm seeing over there, guys. I'm blind. Don't have me on your team. The other problem with that simple language though is that like it means that those people are never really learning what to look for or what the different options are. So it's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen the other. Like you want to you want to make it, you want to keep it. I understand you want it to keep it plug and play. You want to make it easy and simple, the way the console has always been. But it's like I feel like the second you introduce a system like this, you're already kind of like you're already opening that can of worms.
Yeah.
You know, and then the question is like, do you want people to understand what's in that can of worms,
yeah,
or do you want it to all seem mysterious to them?
I wonder if the reality is that console gaming just isn't going to be as simple as it used to be moving forward.
Oh god! Oh god! Oh god! Oh god! Oh god! Oh god! Wait, what?
He blew up?
I have no idea.
Oh, you were killed by a grenade.
It's super weird to me. Oh no! We have to do this whole checkpoint again. It's super weird to me. Like I probably just sound like I'm crying right now. Like it's so strange to me that it's like either you're in the grenade range and you die, or you're out. You're that 1 inch over from the grenade range and nothing happens to you. You know, it's like I would imagine that if I was on the edges of that grenade range, that maybe I would like get a little. I'd take a little hit.
Yeah, little shrapnel.
My ears would be ringing or something, but like.
At least there's, you know, no loading times really in between. You know, after you die.
Right.
You're right back into it. Dude,
Jesus.
The indicator was right there.
Right, but I couldn't back up anymore. Like I was up against the wall. I'm like, well, okay. And but hilariously, that didn't kill me. Like even though I was like well within the range, which is weird. I don't know. Like I said, I have like a mental block with grenades in this game. I just die to them constantly.
Sean asks, are there any games that you currently know of that have options to play at 60 FPS instead of 4K?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, you know, so that's what Tomb Raider was offering. That's what Tomb Raider was offering that. Infamous Second Son was offering that. So yeah, absolutely. That's kind of like the main trade-off with you're choosing one of those enhancement modes. Oh god, was that guy literally standing there right in front of me and I didn't see him? This is a little dark right now. I don't know. Have a seeker. Oh, I don't have seekers. I got frags. Well. Oh, killed somebody. I'll take it. Oh, this part's cool. I'll take it. Hacking device. This is so sick. I'm a robot.
Nice. can also self-destruct. Nice.
Taking you with me. I love that gadget. It
Yeah,
is
that's
so
really
fun. So, aside from my death, this is all still one sequence.
Yeah. Yeah, still looking really good.
I need your airship drawing fire at the tower for ground force cover. Clear, sir. Inbound hot.
Viewers, we have about 10 minutes left on our stream today. We've been showing you a bunch of new games for the PlayStation 4 Pro, which is out this week.
Yes.
If you have any last-minute questions, tweet them at IGN with the hashtag IGNPlaysLive. Vince reviewed the system for us. What's the score you gave the PS4 Pro?
I gave it an 8.5.
Great.
Yes, a great 0.5. And you know, it might seem a little bit confusing. I don't know. Like some people I've seen in the comments have the feedback that like they think that maybe the score doesn't totally match up with like the things that I had to say and the caveats that I think that go along with the system. But I'll just say this, like, you know, reviewing a piece of hardware is like a little bit different, right? Because like at the end of the day, this is still a PlayStation 4, right? And it does all the things that a PlayStation 4 does, and we gave the PlayStation 4 a certain score. So it's like I'm not going to realistically, like, I'm not going to give the PS4 Pro a lower score. It still does all the great things that a regular PS4 does.
Yeah.
It does do more than a regular PS4. But you know, that said, as I've mentioned a few times now, how much more it does is going to be really dependent upon.
Yeah, all sorts of factors. Like
Exactly.
what are the games that are important to you? Do those games have any added PS4 Pro support?
Exactly. Okay, let's call in some support.
Request for fire. Target is marked.
Ooh, those shackles are so cool.
Kasim is wondering, which option do you prefer? 1080p, 60 FPS, or 4K, 30 FPS?
Definitely, I'm a frame rate guy. I definitely want to play the game on the highest frame rate that I can possibly get. And that's why I was saying, like, if I could have every single game give you that option, I would be a happy boy. Nah, I don't need that. I don't need that right there. Just toss a Seeker over the... That should take care of these guys. That was a little tight.
I am still seeing a few questions about HDR. Mark is asking, what is the difference between PS4 HDR and PS4 Pro HDR? Or is there one?
No, there isn't. Not as far as we know, in any case. Oh, God. Yeah, as we said before, like, HDR is a feature that was patched in a firmware update, and yeah, there's no there's no like PS4 Pro version of HDR.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna run up in there as a robot.
They don't seem to pick up on the fact that you're being controlled by the enemy.
Yeah, they don't seem to care. Signal failing, signal failing. I want someone to blow up in front of. I'm gonna blow up in front of you. That's so satisfying. Oh, the dropship. Yeah, I gotta kill you. Well, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm gonna have my boys kill you.
Yeah.
How much time we got left? 8 minutes?
8 minutes.
We're getting so close.
Push forward.
Oh, God, that jackal.
Nice.
Woo.
Force up. Towers at the top of the hill.
Hacking.
2-4. I need you on the left flank. 2-6. Take the right.
Yeah.
And how does that hacking work? Is it like something you have to recharge after you?
It's kind of like a grenade. Like, you know, you have a limited number of uses of it.
Okay.
And boom. Okay.
Solid State asks if the PS4 Pro gains any smoothness in the general UI. Does he mean like the?
No. Yeah, if you're asking, does it run any better? Like, does the AI run any smoother or more responsively? No, not that
He said UI.
Yeah, in the UI, yeah.
Okay.
Not that I've noticed.
Gold team, report. Okay, let's take it.
Oh boy. Oh boy. It's getting hairy. Time to hack. Hacking saves all. Oh, there you are. Boom. All right, one more call of the jackal, and that should do it. Guns, guns, guns! Come get your guns! Oh, nope,
Again.
just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
I feel like you're like a sleeper agent.
I'm a maniac. I am not okay. Oh boy. There's a lot of dudes back there. One more hack. Oh, yeah, you guys are dead. Woo.
Request for fire. Target is marked. Roger. Target acquired.
Oh, we're so close.
Yeah.
I want to make it.
Shots out. Shots out.
Woo, jeez.
Copy. Shaking bandits. Bug it out.
Gary's asking if there are any general benefits for all games on PS4
No,
Pro.
there are not, and that's
Okay.
like a very. That's a great question. I'm surprised, actually, that we just got that question for the first time right now because, yeah, there aren't any, and that's kind of like. That's one of the reasons why I've remained like cautiously optimistic about the Pro. Like, I think it has a lot of potential. I think it has a lot of power, but the fact that I can't just play any game now and it just runs better. I mean, I feel like.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that would be. Again, I'm no system architect. I'm no tech head. I can't say for sure that should be easy and doable.
Yeah. But it is important to note that if you buy a PS4 Pro, it's not like automatically every game in your library is just going to look better.
Nope, that's not the way it works.
I say again, jackpot.
Relieve the bot. Take the prisoner into custody. Petty officers, get that ATIS back up. We still got enemy ships in our.
He really should be wearing a helmet.
Whoops. Okay, so that whole scene was all one thing.
Yeah.
Which I think is really impressive, but I think this is even more impressive, and I'm glad that we got here.
Yeah, so this should be like the last thing we get to show you today.
Yep.
Raider to Maine, Lieutenant Salter and I need birds.
Yep, we need birds, guys.
3-2 will escort to your position. Solid copy.
Yeah, that's my bird. I'm about to fly the heck out of this thing.
Nice.
That's all right, Ethan.
Ethan, you're with Lieutenant Reyes. Yes, sir.
So yeah, I'd be curious to see how people react when they see the VOD of this on IGN.com. You know, when they see, because the VOD will be for full 4K, 60 frames per second, and I'm just really curious to see if people look at that and go, when they're on if they have a 4K monitor at home and go, oh my God, that's how I want Call of Duty to look.
Yeah.
Or if they're like, oh, that looks like Call of Duty to me. Folks, you know where we're going. You know where we're going.
Where no IGN live stream has gone before.
We're going to space. 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 Outer space.
So this is the what you wanted to show everyone.
Yeah, I really
actually going from the ground all the way to space.
Exactly. It's really sick.
Because I did that in No Man's Sky.
Oh, you got me. This is so cool. I think also because it's Call of Duty. You know what I mean? It's just like, what am I doing in space?
Well, that is bringing us to the end of our broadcast today.
So as we start to blow up things for the first time here in space in Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, that's going to have to be the end of the party for us, folks.
Yep.
So I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream. I hope you guys have gotten something out of it.
Yep.
You know,
thanks for playing for us today.
Oh, my
I know
pleasure.
it's really difficult to play games and talk.
Oh God, yes it is, especially when like you're not necessarily the best Call of Duty player in the history of mankind.
The PlayStation 4 is out this Thursday, November 10th. For much more on the new system, stick with us here at IGN.
Thanks, folks.
Oh, hello there. Welcome to IGN Live. I'm Damon Hatfield. This is Vince Ingenito.
Hey!
We're about to play you a bunch of PlayStation 4 Pro games.
We sure are. We want to show you folks at home, to our best of our abilities with the wonders of streaming internet video, what you can expect from the PlayStation 4 Pro. So first up, for the first half hour, we're going to be playing some Rise of the Tomb Raider. And right now
is a real pretty game.
It's a super pretty game, and it's super pretty right now because we are right now running it in enhanced visuals mode for the PS4 Pro. So even if you have just a 1080p